Yay, there we go. Now, that was, as you know, the Boomtown Rats, which was Bob Geldof, and it was a special choice of my guest, Mark Harris. Now, Mark, it's a very warm welcome to you, but in a way, it's a little bit redundant of me to say welcome to Marlow FM. Because you're here regularly, aren't you?
Absolutely. Every other Thursday I do what you do. I present a BizBuzz show along with Mike Duckett, my co-presenter. But the difference, of course, is I sit on that side of the desk, and today I'm over here. It's a whole different view. I can see out the window. It's lovely.
Okay. Now, actually, does it feel different?
Yes, it does. One of the things about being a presenter, as you well know, is you're not allowed to self-promote. So when I'm busy presenting, I can't talk about my business. But here, and you know, I do present my views on things, but really today is more about me talking about my business and my business views and topics and stuff, and I can talk freely without worrying about Mr. Ofcom giving me a hard time.
Well, you can, as long as you don't do major promotion, yes.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. No. It's not a 90-minute advert, that's for sure.
No. Anyway, well, it's lovely to have you on here. It's absolutely great. Now, you chose the song. I think you were quite interested in Bob Geldof.
Yes, I'm interested in Bob, Sir Bob to me, and the Boomtown Rats. Saw the Boomtown Rats live once, and I went to a BBC recording of a show called Masterclass a year or so ago where he was talking about one of the early albums. That was a brilliant place to be.
Fabulous.
And also I got quite involved in raising money for Live Aid back in the day. Yeah,
yes.
I ran a particular fundraising campaign which worked
you.
quite well. 16 grand we raised, which was nice. So yeah,
Well done.
and I love the
And
song.
charity is important to you, isn't it, I think?
Oh yes, I do. Yes. I do quite a bit of voluntary work.
Right.
In fact, if I got paid for all my voluntary work, I wouldn't have to do my job.
Yes.
And I think it's you can do too much. That is a risk, but I think there are an awful lot of people who don't do enough. So I maybe try and balance that out a little bit by doing more than I should.
Oh, well, good for you. Yeah, fantastic. So, I mean, the title of the song is I Don't Like Mondays. So, does this have a particular relevance for you?
Absolutely. I am really, within my business, I'm very focused at the moment on a new project, and that's called Laptop Monday. Mm-hmm. And the way it came about is I work from home, and I do talk to people. You know, I make phone calls, I have meetings, I go to networking groups, all those kinds of things. So I'm not any kind of a hermit.
No.
But there are days when I will spend the whole day at home hammering away on the laptop.
Yeah.
And it might even be the sort of day where it's not a particularly phone call kind of day. So I'm not even talking to people on the phone. And then the doorbell rings and the postman is delighted. I get to talk to someone. Hello.
Have a big conversation.
No, I don't want to just sign. Can we chat for a bit? And I thought, and the other issue about working from home is what you don't get from working in office. When you're in an office, particularly an open plan office with a range of colleagues, is you get the opportunity, apart from just conversation about Strictly or Match of the Day or whatever it is you're talking about, you get the opportunity to say, I'm stuck on this spreadsheet. Does anybody know how to whatever? Or I've just designed this flyer. What does it say to you? Are there too many words? The picture you can't bounce stuff off people.
And actually, let me just say, I think having the chat about Strictly is quite a good precursor to getting into those conversations sometimes.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Just building those relationships, and then that can lead to a worky kind of environment. There was a time when the coffee station or water cooler moments were somewhat frowned upon by businesses because it's a waste of time, and actually it's been shown to be a very, very good use, not excessively, but a very, very good use of time, because that's where people get to know each other and build those relationships that then spill over to the work environment, and those relationships help that co-working. So what I thought I'd really like to do is I'd like to just every now and again, not every day, maybe once a fortnight, go somewhere where there's free tea and coffee and free Wi-Fi and free parking and some other people who brought their laptops as well, and I can just get on with my job, but every now and again I can say, how do you do this in Excel, and maybe I can.
And what did you think about the TV?
Yeah, absolutely. And absolutely that social stuff. And what do you do? You know, not a networking group per se, but just to say to the person sitting next to you, so what do you do? Yes. And I can't go there because it doesn't exist, as far as I know, not around here anyway. The concept does. It's called co-working, and there have been various things set up, but there was nothing like a fight. So I thought,
there's nothing around here anyway, was there?
And
in the Marlow area?
Not that I'm aware of. And if someone wants
I
to
looked
correct
around,
me. Oh,
to be
good, and you
honest,
couldn't
and
find
I couldn't
it.
find
Okay,
anything,
good, because
no.
I couldn't either.
No.
So I thought, well, if it doesn't exist, then make it so. So I invented Laptop Monday, and it's a bit of a process getting there, but it kicks off on the 11th of January.
Right.
And I'm really excited about it because the feedback that I'm getting from people is really, really positive. The launch is something like 5 weeks away, so I didn't really expect people to start booking yet. I thought maybe middle of December, towards the end. I think the first week of January, when people get back on the 4th of January, a month from today, Christmas and New Year are already over. How sad is that?
Yeah.
Yes. And they'll say, okay, so what am I doing work-wise? And oh yeah, that Laptop Monday, and I think that's the week that they'll book.
Right.
But I've already got bookings. I've
you?
got 6, 7, 8 bookings have already come in, which is really pleasantly surprising, and I'm really pleased about that.
Lovely.
And
so, do you charge for it? Let me just
absolutely
ask you.
yes.
Okay.
There's the main reason I charge for it is that there's a cost associated. The tea and coffee is free, but it's only free to the people who are there.
Absolutely.
I'm paying for it, and there's obviously there is a room. It's at the
it's a designated room.
Absolutely, yes. Yep. It's at a place called the Bird in Hand, which is in Knoll Hill on the not the M4 at all, the A4, on the way out of Maidenhead towards Reading.
Yes.
So, what is it, 15-minute drive from Marlow?
Yes.
And they have a dining room which is stunningly underused on a Monday during the daytime. But what's really nice about it is it's actually 3 or 4 rooms with connecting doors not connecting doors.
I know.
Sliding
Are they on the left and you go through the
Absolutely,
bar?
you go through the bar and fork left. Absolutely, you've been there.
I've run some workshops
lots of people have. And what that means is that if I have 10 people book, then we can use just a part of it. And if I have 20, then we can open up the big double doors and it's a bigger room, and then we can go, so it
How
can
fantastic.
be, it can be an appropriate size. And that's one of the main reasons I've encouraged people to book online rather than just turn up on the day. I don't want to have the room set up ready to go for 40 people, which is the capacity, and have 10 turn up. And I don't want to set it up for 10 people and have 40 turn up, so people book online beforehand. We know what's what. And there'll be, as I say, tea and coffee all day, so you get that coffee station time when you can just have a chat. We're also doing at lunchtime, we're doing something called Lunch and Learn.
Okay.
Which is not a sales pitch by somebody.
Good.
It's somebody doing some educative business-related stuff. And I can give you an example because I've now booked in the first one.
First person.
That's going to be on the 11th of January. Very, very nice, very, very clever lady by the name of Sally Hindmarch, who runs Partners for You. And she's going to, I think the topic is something like the 5 Ps of presentation. And that's not PowerPoint type presentation. That's how to stand up and deliver it. Oh, Lordy, if I was really clever, I'd remember the 5 Ps. There's pace, there's posture, there's certainly preparation was one of the 5. And you know what? If you want to know the other 2, come along and you'll find
your
out.
Website.
Yeah, and you can look at my website. There is a little
give us your website link or how to find out.
It's enterprisedoctor.co.uk, and doctor is all one word, not a DR. And from there on the homepage, you'll see the Laptop Monday logo. You click on that, and there's a page with lots of information. And from there, you can click on the book now, and you can book for one, or if you feel the urge, you can book for a number. And it's all secure PayPal type credit card payments. I'll tell you the interesting thing about the page that's the page of information about it is there are some pictures of it sort of in operation.
Yes, I looked at that. I thought, well, has it started?
Absolutely. And the answer is no, it hasn't started. But I have a photographer who said, why don't we do a photo shoot? And I got a few people to bring their laptops down and they were able to do it. And we wanted just candid snaps. So I said, look, just pretend it's Laptop Monday and do some work and talk to each other and whatever. And there came a point when the photographer said, okay, I'm done now. Thank you very much. And I said to everybody, that's brilliant. Thank you for coming. You're free to go.
Right.
And they said, can we stay?
Oh, fantastic.
It was such a moment for me. Because it worked. They're all people who worked from home, which is how they were able to be there on a whatever morning it was.
Yes.
And it worked. They got the benefits. They received the benefits that they were supposed to get from being there, and they still stayed for a chunk longer, which was it was lovely. I was delighted.
So, in a way, your test drive has worked.
Yes.
plus the confirmation that people are actually booking.
Absolutely. And the other thing that was very useful was people have been wary, will there be enough Wi-Fi capacity?
Yes.
And as it happens, by pure coincidence, the venue, the Bird in Hand, have put in some serious professional quality Wi-Fi.
Good.
And we got people to actually download some hunky stuff to make sure, and everybody's
and it was
stuff,
all fine.
all worked good.
Yes.
So fingers crossed, touch wood and all that stuff.
Lovely. And can I just ask you, were they staying to work or were they staying to talk to each other?
Bit of both.
Bit of both.
Yeah.
Sometimes the need is one, sometimes the need is the other.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going from I don't like Mondays now, I think, to Manic Mondays.
Yeah, it's a bit of a...
Now we're hoping for Manic Mondays during 2016. And I'm here with Mark Harris, and he's just been talking about his new project, which is extremely exciting. And I guess it's got a little bit of, you're charging money, but you're not charging a lot of money.
No.
And you're hoping to spread a bit of entrepreneurial joy.
Absolutely, yeah. One of the reasons that people don't go into business on their own and work from home is because they want that interaction. So I'm giving them a bit of opportunity for that. It's £15 for the day.
Yep.
You're getting, if you want 27
whole
cups
day,
of coffee.
is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
9:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
There's no start. That's the start and finish, but you don't have to be there. So if you're busy
Right.
in the morning, you can just turn up for the afternoon.
Yes.
Lunchtime, it's the Bird in Hand. You know, they do
Yes.
great food.
Yes.
You can have a sandwich. You can have a 3-course meal. You can have whatever's
Right.
you want. That's obviously not included in the price, but the teas and coffees are. And I think it's, if you're having a manic Monday, you wouldn't want to be there because you'll have too many things to do, and you don't have to commit. It's not an every fortnight. There's no annual membership fee or anything. It's just
Lovely.
a week before, 3 days before, you decide, I'm going to do that. And you go online, book and pay, and you're sorted.
Yes, quite. Yes, you've got to know, do I need to be in front of a client that day?
Yes.
In order to not do it. The other thing is, are you giving some kind of structure? Is it like lunches at a certain time? Did you think about that?
Yeah, I wanted to give people the freedom because I know people, if they haven't had lunch by midday, they're starving, and there are others who want a 3-course meal. So I've left it fairly vague. The thing that is fixed is the sort of the lunch and learn thing that I mentioned.
Yes, quite.
And that'll be
so what time's that?
about 10 past, 1:15, so that if people are going to eat at 12:30, 1:45, even 1 o'clock, they pretty much finish munching away and they can sit back and listen to what's being said.
Yes.
And that lunch and learn thing is only sort of 15 minutes, depending on how long the Q&A is afterwards. If people got lots of questions, then it can go on a bit.
So it's lovely. So actually, the people who sign up come and do learn something as well as the interaction and hopefully doing their own work.
Yeah.
And actually, you're spreading the message. You're being good to other entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Which is, I imagine, quite important to you, is it?
Oh yeah, it's what I do is I help people. That's my job. That's some of my voluntary work. It's all
Cut you
helping
open,
people.
and I like to help people. It's written there, is it?
Yeah, I'd rather you didn't cut me
No,
open.
okay,
but
all right, I'll stop.
If you have to, then feel free. I like to help people, and it's interesting that people need different sorts of help in different ways. And there's a guy I know who's an electrician who's says he's going to book for Laptop Monday, and I look forward to it. Monday's his admin day, is when he sits at home and does all his invoicing and all those different things.
Wow. Yeah.
Except he doesn't.
He doesn't get on with it. No,
he's at home, and she who must be obeyed says, "Can you sort the hoovering or pop to Asda or whatever?"
Yes.
There's the undeniable draw of Candy Crush or whatever it is that's going to distract him, and he gets to 5 o'clock and he hasn't done it. Whereas if he's out of the home environment, he's not going to be doing all those home things. And if he's sitting in a room with a bunch of business people, he's not going to be sitting there playing Candy Crush or YouTube, whatever. He's going to be getting on with some work. So if the environment is what motivates him and channels his energies into doing what he should be doing, well, then that's a tool that he can use.
And very often Monday is admin day, isn't it? For a lot of people, it tends to be. Friday tends to be out and about. It kind of starts on a Monday a bit low, or a bit, on your own, and then during the week the pace ramps up a bit.
Yeah,
and
I don't like
suddenly need to
Mondays.
see you or something.
That's why I don't like Mondays.
Why? Because you don't like to be on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And also I do, there's a pile of emails that are coming over the weekend, and I try not to work at the weekend. I try and make it a weekend. But what that means is a pile of
2 days
if
off?
I can,
Good for you.
if I can.
Yep.
I said if I can. I never have 2 whole days off. I will always. There's just a few things I need to wrap up, or there's something that actually I don't want to wait till Monday to to reply to that.
Yes.
I will always scan my emails.
Right.
But
Okay.
if I do have pretty much a weekend off, then there's a whole bunch of catching up to do. So
Yes,
that's
quite.
what Mondays are for, really.
Yes. I always find, because I'm having had a nice relaxing weekend, I always never look at email certainly on one day of the weekend.
Very wise.
I'm much calmer on a Monday. I'm more in a mood to actually knuckle down and really, do some writing or, you know, the quieter things.
Yeah.
Whereas when
Yeah.
you get more, the pace builds up, it's harder to kind of make that time, I think.
Absolutely,
I
and
find.
a break is good for you.
Yes,
Recharge,
absolutely.
cliches like recharge the batteries, but actually it's true.
So important. Well, I'm going to sign up, let me tell you.
Good.
I think it will be great.
I look forward to the email pinging into my inbox
shall
that tells
ping.
me that you have. Oh,
I haven't done
I
it
was
yet,
going to
but
talk
I
to you
will.
off air about a deal, but hey, if you want to
Oh,
pay,
a deal.
then
Okay, well, whatever you
might
like.
sound like bribery to get me here, so maybe
Yeah,
I
yeah,
shouldn't.
yeah.
We'll see.
No, but I totally get what you're talking about, and I think it is incredibly important. And our environment generally is something that perhaps as solopreneurs we don't think about enough. You know, if you're working in a back bedroom, you're not in the bulk of the house. You know, you're relegated to a kind of unimportant room.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're in the main bit of the house, well, there's always something else that could, pull you in.
I was talking to a woman yesterday who works from home, and she works from sort of 9 till 4 because at 4 her 4 sons come home
Yeah.
and the 3 dogs go crazy.
Yes,
and it's pointless trying to work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's better, actually, to have a short boundary time, should we say,
Yes.
than thinking you've got to go on. That's when you get so tired and burnt
Yeah.
out. And
Yeah.
yeah. So I suppose for it to be maximum success, let's just throw this idea in, for some really good strategic partnerships to come out of it, and, that whole together we're stronger thing, people end up doing stuff that they might not have even dreamed was possible.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
It would, and I really hope that the collaborative working side of it does start to come out. That when somebody says, can you comment on this for me, whatever this may be, that there are people in the room who do comment, because that's what it's about, so they shouldn't be reticent.
Yes.
But when they do comment, that the reception of that comment is, oh, that's quite insightful. Can we chat? And maybe there are some collaborative stuff would come out of that, which would be great. That's not the objective,
No,
but
I
I
can
do
see that.
recognise it as a
That would be
potential
lovely.
outcome. Yeah,
That would be great.
Yeah.
And just one final thing about it, really. How do you see your role? I mean, are you going to be facilitating conversations and things, or what? Because it's quite a big decision, isn't it? How to work it.
I'm looking forward to finding out. No.
Yes. No,
I mean, I
you'll
need
have
to
to
see
play it
how
by
it
ear, won't you?
unfolds. Yeah, I think my role is a cross between host and ambassador,
Yes.
somewhere around there. I need to make sure that people are getting something out of it. If there's somebody who nobody's spoken to for a while, I'll take it on myself to go and talk to them. And I will go and talk to people anyway, because as the person who's created this, I want to find out what was it that motivated them to be there, what's working for them. Not so much on the first session, but 2 weeks
Quite.
later and 2
Yes.
weeks after that.
Yes.
It's a fortnightly event.
Yes.
And so that I can look at the positives and build on those. And if there are aspects
Yes.
of it that people don't like,
Yes.
then I can look at how I can
Yes.
reduce those. But that ambassadorial hosting role is something I'm very happy to do.
Yes.
But I don't see that as my job all day. My job all day is to sit there with my laptop and do my job.
Absolutely. And I mean, maybe even well, I just know when I've run workshops where actually people had to end up doing some writing, I found if it went on later on in the day, they actually they wanted to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you may find, a bit like a railway carriage, you might have to say, a quiet 40 minutes or something.
Yes, possibly.
Thought.
Possibly.
Who knows? But
Yeah.
I mean, but it'll be very interesting to see
Yeah,
how it works
I'm looking
out.
forward to finding out, that's for
Yes.
sure.
Yes, it's going to be good. This is a song that we'll do one more Monday.
Are we going to do
No,
another Monday song?
We're going to do Monday because it's a lovely thing to look forward to.
Isn't it
with
just?
the mamas and papas.
Yeah.
Hello, yes. You're listening to Biz Buzz. We are on Marlow FM 97.5 in the Marlow area and quite a few miles roundabout. You can get us on 97.5. Everywhere else in the world, via the wonders of the internet, you can get us on www.marlowfm.co.uk. And I'm here with Mark Harris, whose company is called Enterprise Doctor.
It is.
So I'm assuming that enterprise just means you didn't want to say company? Because often enterprise tends to mean a larger company than a small or medium-sized business.
Yeah, the first when I started the business, I first off came up with Business Doctor.
Yes, I would have thought you probably would. Yeah.
Then I found out that there is a franchise operation called Business Doctor, so I thought,
Right.
okay, we'll pass on that.
Yes.
Company Doctor, I felt was a little bit. Just didn't feel right to me, and actually I do work with education. I do work with the third sector,
Yes.
so that's all different sorts of enterprises. And I thought,
Good
enterprise
idea.
doctor,
Yes.
and I tested with some people, and people seemed to like. And I thought, okay, and then only later, much later, did I discover what was wrong with it.
What?
When you Google Enterprise Doctor, you get an awful lot of stuff about Mr. McCoy, who was the doctor on the Starship Enterprise. And I've got I've got a Google alert set up for Enterprise Doctor. So if anybody publishes about Enterprise Doctor,
Yes.
I get
You get
an
it.
email,
Yes.
and I get an email saying that Joe's Toy Shop has now got Enterprise Doctor on the shelves. Hooray! But you can't account for that. My daughter's name is Leia, and when she was born.
No! Oh my goodness!
Well, yeah, no, but that's from Star Wars,
Yeah,
not
Star Wars. I'm just
not Star
thinking-
Trek.
You
So,
know,
yeah.
no, but I mean, wow.
She's Leia, and when she was born nearly 22 years ago in a few weeks'
Was that
time.
as a result of Star Wars? I have to
No.
just ask
We
you.
liked the name Leia,
wow.
and there was some family stuff. And my wife and
Yeah.
I at the time said, because Star Wars was long gone, and we said,
Yes.
yeah, people have
Everyone
forgotten
had
about
forgotten it.
Star Wars, and it really won't be a problem.
Oh my
and then,
gosh.
of course, they bring back Star Wars 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6,
Yes.
and
Oh my gosh.
but nobody gives her a hard time over it. Nobody
No.
calls her Princess Leia, so that's okay.
Well, it's
Until-
quite a good association, isn't it? I
until
mean, it could
now.
be worse. It's
Yeah,
still
absolutely.
Now. Yes.
Yeah. Far better to be associated with a princess than some other stuff.
Yes, yes.
So so
absolutely.
Enterprise Doctor, the name. I like company names as a generality. I like company names that at the least give people a clue
Yes.
what it's about.
Yes.
If your company is Harrison Partners,
Yes.
well, what are you, decorators, or
Yeah,
you could be
absolutely.
anything. And to be fair, Marks and Spencers haven't done so badly, and nor John Lewis. Or
Well, I
know,
think in the
but-
past, the world was different. Nowadays,
Absolutely.
we have domain names.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
give a clue, help.
Yeah, I think it is helpful to people to give some kind of clue. So, yeah.
And just in case anybody isn't doing it, who's listening, you just mentioned then setting up a Google alert for your own business name
Yeah.
is a very good idea, because then you know if something's being said about you.
Absolutely.
Or, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent doesn't matter.
A
You actually need
topic
to
of
know.
interest, yeah,
Yes.
and they're very easy to
And it's
find.
free.
Yeah, it's
know.
free, absolutely. And you
Yeah.
go to Google or any other search engine, and you
Yes.
put in Google Alerts, and it will show you how to do it. And you know what?
Yep.
It's so easy
Yes.
that even I could do it.
Yes.
And you just put in the term that you want to search for to be notified about. You click on the button that says submit. Job done.
I had some clients actually who put in their own name as well, their personal name, and
Yes.
then you know if something's going on about you, because
Absolutely.
if you're in a small industry or a small,
Oh, yeah.
well known, it really matters that you're on top of all this
The,
stuff.
the challenge with that is if your name's Mark Harris, there's
Well,
about
you are-
a thousand
absolutely.
others out
There
there.
are, yes.
I can't remember. I did Google once Mark Harris to see how many there were, and there were just lots and
Yes.
lots. And interestingly, there is a Mark
There's one near
Harris.
here.
Absolutely. I was
Yes.
going to say based in Maidenhead. His
He's the
middle
one I
initial
knew
is
first.
D. Mark
Yeah.
D. Harris. He
Yes.
used to be involved with Marlow FM here,
Yes,
and I don't
yes.
think he is anymore.
He's been
But I
on my
cross
show, yeah.
paths with him from time to time.
Yes.
In fact, the first time that I crossed paths with him and we agreed to have a coffee because we're in similar lines of work and thought we might see if we could be collaborative. And when he saw me, his kids at the time were sort of 6 or 7 years old, and he did the thing at breakfast, guess who I'm seeing today, because
Yeah.
he knew it would.
Yeah.
And the youngest of his children, who was maybe 5, said to him, so does he open your post?
Oh, how sweet. That's good.
Yeah.
I actually met him for the first time at the Marlow FM launch long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
which I'd forgotten all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taller than me, more handsome than me, more successful
Stop it.
than me.
You're-
Hey,
stop
can't have it.
fishing. Stop fishing. I'm not going to respond. Okay, so you're an enterprise doctor.
Yes.
Now, what do you think? Obviously, your Laptop Monday is to address, let's say, some of the softer stuff about having an environment where you can work.
Yep.
What other kind of problems do you find in businesses?
The main challenge that
main
I
one?
find, yeah, okay. bearing in mind, you have to preface that with that my target audience is generally smaller businesses, and I'd say more than half my clientele is one-person businesses.
Right.
The other half is 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe up to 10.
Yes.
That's the kind of market I aim at.
Yes.
And with the one-person businesses, they are nearly always really, really good at their area of expertise.
Yep.
And that might be web design, and it might be accountancy, and it might be PR skills, whatever it is that their business is about.
Mm-hmm.
But what about all the other stuff? What about the sales and the marketing and the cash flow forecasts and the social media management and all of the things that you need to do in order to run a business and to promote
There's
it? And
so many things, aren't there?
absolutely.
Really?
And the my message to people like that is you cannot expect to be good at everything. If
Yes.
you know who is, I'm certainly not. I've got a whole long list of things I'm not good at. And my wife kindly added a few things onto the list for me. That was lovely of her.
Okay.
Yeah. And the point of what I do with people like that is to say you have 3 choices for the areas where you are not skillful. Option 1, do it badly.
Yes.
Well, that's what you're doing now, and that's not really a good idea, and it's not helping your business. Option 2 is learn how to do it, and option 3 is pay someone else to do it for you. And option 2 or 3 is where I come in, where if you take sales as an area where I suppose if I had to pick on my area of greatest expertise, it would be sales. Everybody's got something they're best at. That would be me, I suppose.
Right.
And what I can do is one of 2 things. In the first category, I can teach people how to sell, but not just how to sell, it's how to pitch, and it's how to build a spreadsheet that will enable you to keep track of who you're talking to and where you're at in the conversation, and that you can then use as a tool to drive what you're going to do today. I know I have to call these 10 people because it's been a month since I called them. I know I have to call this man because he said call me in a couple of weeks, and I can help them set up.
So you would use a spreadsheet, would you?
Absolutely. I wouldn't.
Not
I
software.
don't tend to maintain it. I help them build it and show them how to use it. And
I'm just checking, not software. You tend to
no. Oh, Excel spreadsheet. Yeah. Well, it's free. You know,
absolutely.
or pretty much free. Certainly, if you've got
Google
Office,
Docs
it's free.
is-
Or Google Docs for free.
Same thing.
Yeah, and I help people on it to. They still have to have the discipline to actually do it,
Yes.
but I do help them to build the tools and understand the simple tools that enable them to do that. And sometimes, whether it's sales or something completely different, people say to me, you know what, not only can I not do that, I don't want to learn how to do it. It's not how I want to spend my day. I'm a web designer. I don't want to be on the phone, sell.
Yes.
So I can do that for you. And the 3 strands of my business really are mentoring, coaching, and hands-on support. And the hands-on support is when I actually do stuff.
Yes.
And as I've already said, I'm not good at everything. So if somebody says to me, I need to talk to some venture capitalists about injecting $500,000 into my business so that I can take it to the next level, sorry, not my skill set, not what I do, and I will absolutely put my hands up and say so, because I'm not interested in digging myself a hole and getting myself a bad rep. But I know people.
You know people, yes.
And in almost every area of business, not only do I know people, I know good people who are tried and trusted, who I've referred before, and people have come back to me and said, thank you, that was a good referral to give me. They were good at what they do. Brilliant. And that doesn't always happen. There have been a couple of occasions, I'm sorry, Leo, there's been a couple of occasions when the person I've referred actually hasn't done a good job, and you know what, I do say sorry and I don't refer them again.
And you wouldn't use them again, no.
But it's about helping small businesses with limited resources to do things better.
Yes, fantastic. We'll have another song, then we'll come back.
Cool. I'm not a good singer. Oh, you mean you'll play another song? Okay.
Now this has got the words. What this is? Bad case. This has got words about doctors in it. You tell me.
And it's funny because I looked at the list of songs that I said I'd love you to play, and this was one of them. And I thought, I know I love this. Robert Palmer, Bad Case of Loving You. I know. Why did I pick it for today?
Right.
And of course, there's this line, Doctor, Doctor, give me the news, and it just ties in with my company name. So hey, and I hope my microphone is switched off when you play it, because I will be singing.
You're going to sing along
very
right.
badly, very badly.
We might leave it up. Doctor. And surprise, surprise, we have not the Doctor from Star Trek. We have the Doctor who is an enterprise doctor. I love that, Mark. I think that's brilliant.
My pleasure.
Because you can use it in networking to help people remember you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Quite fun. It just lightens it all up.
For sure.
Now, I was just thinking, you were saying then that people, let's say sales is a big deal for small businesses, which I would have thought is pretty key. Do you find, on the whole, you start telling people what to do and then they realise they don't want to do it? Or because for a small business, for a solopreneur to go from nothing to having you doing it for them, I would have thought is quite a jump, unless you come with a very good reputation, which I'm sure you do.
Yeah, and thank you. I when I said yes, I didn't mean the good reputation, but I'd like to think I do. Yes, you're right. It's for somebody to trust somebody else to do sales for them is a big step.
Huge, isn't it?
And also to pay somebody else to do the sales for them.
Yes.
I'm not interested in commission-only stuff because those days are long gone and it's far too risky.
Yes.
And there's very few sort of subcontracted salespeople who will do that.
I know.
So from the solopreneur's point of view, they're going to pay, but they don't know what they get.
Yes.
But all I have to go on is my track record, and I can give references of people who I've done it for, who it worked.
Yes.
Of course, I don't give the references of the people for whom it didn't work. But there aren't too many of them, I'm pleased to say.
Good.
And they're usually a good reason. And sometimes I've been back to clients for whom I've been contracted to do 3 months work or 2 days a week for 3 months, whatever it may be.
Yes.
And 3 weeks in, I have chosen to go back to them and say, you know what, this is not working.
Right, okay.
I can't overcome the objections I'm getting, and the reason is this and this, and it might be about their marketing materials or their website, or their prices are just way out of kilter with what people are actually paying, or there are some objections. But for me, that's not about me failing as a salesman. That's me being successful as enterprise doctor and going back to them and saying, we need to look at your pricing.
We need
to
an
look at your
operation
marketing
here.
materials.
Yes.
Because for me, marketing is about preparing the ground so that sales can happen. So if that ground is not prepared, just going in cold when no one's heard of you is really very hard. And the pricing has to be right. If everybody's paying a tenner for that widget and you're trying to sell it at 15, you can, but only if there's a really good reason for them to pay 50% extra. So what is the reason, and what are the tools that you're giving me, the salesman, to enable me to convince people that it's worth 15 quid?
Yes.
And
so before you start to work with somebody, do you very carefully look at all that, or do you say let's give it a go?
If I'm going to be a salesman for them, then absolutely I do the research. We have the conversations. I'm not interested in just pick up the phone and go for it.
No, that's what I was thinking.
When before I make calls, there's one key thing that I want to buy, and I find it really, I would not want to buy, I want to know, and I find it really interesting that so few people have the answer at their fingertips, and that's the nub of their sales problem. And the question is, why should I buy this product, and why should I buy it from you?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
They're often stuck for an answer, and
that's a twofold question as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. And with the product, the answer has to be because it's better than the other stuff out there. The other option is exactly the same as the other stuff out there. So if, for example, I'm selling a Hewlett-Packard branded laser toner, which I used to do lots and lots of in my past, my Hewlett-Packard laser toner is exactly the same as the one you can buy at Staples or from the other telesales company down the road. So then the question isn't about the product. The question is about why buy it from me? Why buy it from my company? And, because we really care. Well, everybody says that.
Oh, honestly, that's the most overused rubbish.
I know.
Yeah.
How are you going to prove it? What is it that you're going to do? What's different about your service? What's different about your credit terms? What's different about your pricing?
Yes.
What is there? What can you give me that I can say, yes, but?
Yes.
That's the phrase that I need is, yes, but.
Yes.
And I need the end of that sentence, and if they can't answer that, then I'm very happy as enterprise doctor to work with them to help them draw that out. There are lots of people who I work with where critiquing their website is something that I do, and then helping them rewrite the words for it. I'm not a web designer. I can't spell HTML. But what I can do is work with them. I look at their website and I think to myself, but what do you do?
Yes.
And
yes.
if that's not coming across, then
Yes.
that's awful. And
Yeah.
and sometimes, okay, I get that you're a plumber, but why am I using you? What's special about you? Is it the guarantee? Is it the 24-hour service? Is it the what is it? Why am I calling you instead of the other 12,000 that came up when I did
Plumbers
that
that there
Google
are.
search?
Would you seriously sell for a plumber?
Would I sell
Or
for
are
a
you
plumber?
just using that as
no,
an
no, just
example?
using that as an
Yes.
example. But there are lots of websites out there that really don't get the message
Sure,
across, and
sure.
I help people to get that message across. And going back to the sales thing,
Yeah.
once I'm then happy that okay, now I get it, now I understand
Yes.
why someone really should be thinking about spending with you,
Yes.
and then I'm ready to pick up the phone.
Yes.
But
yes.
actually, before I pick up the phone, it's okay, so who am I going to call? There's
Yes.
this great product, there's a good deal, there's the service to back it up, etc. But who is the right customer for that?
Absolutely.
If you're selling headphones, he said, looking around the studio for a visual prompt, there's no point phoning up solicitors. What do they want headphones for?
No,
You want to phone
no.
up sound engineers and people who might need to buy headphones. So, it's about targeting and then pitching to them about why this is a good thing for them to be buying and why you're the right people to buy it from.
And on the whole, do your customers know these things or not? You said no, not really.
Some of them
Some
do,
Yes.
but have trouble expressing it.
Yes.
And some of them just haven't really thought about it in that way. And I that's where the sort of the mentoring side of it comes in, is helping them to think about it in that way. They know they're great,
Yes.
and they are at
Yes,
their area of
quite.
expertise.
Yeah.
But how do they get that message across to somebody who doesn't know them from Adam?
Yes, and to somebody for whom that would be a desirable product. Hopefully, I mean that's
Absolutely,
the other thing.
yeah.
Tying
Yeah.
in with the
One of the I have lots of little mantras, and one of them is MAN for man. When you're selling, you need the right man, which is not a sexist comment. The M is for money, the A is authority, and the N is need. And you've got to phone somebody who's got
Fab.
the money, got the
Yes.
authority to buy, and perhaps most
Actually-
importantly, has the need.
got the need. Well, I'm with Mark Harris, who's called the Enterprise Doctor at theenterprisedoctor.co.uk. And we like our guests to choose some music when they come on the programme. Mark has had loads about Mondays because of his project Laptop Monday, and another Doctor song I see.
Absolutely, Doctor and the Medics.
Yes,
I chose
right,
them. I
Doctor
chose that for
Medics.
3 reasons. One is because I can get the word Doctor in again. Another is
Yes.
because I really love that song. It's such a fun, uplifting,
great song, isn't it?
just
Yes.
a bit of a nonsense but fun.
Yeah.
And of course, in the summer just gone, they were the headline act at Marlow Rock Bottom, and I had the pleasure of being in the very front row, crushed up
Oh,
against
right.
the barrier with the
Yes.
thongs.
Yes.
And if you've never been to Rock Bottom at Marlow, forget the word rock. It's not rock. It's all sorts of music. Some
Yeah.
local bands, some bigger stuff.
they
It's
do it
well
every
worth
year?
going to. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been the last. The Rose Carnival died a death because the days of coconut shies and things, I think, are not what they were. So they needed something to raise money for the playing field in Marlow Bottom,
Right.
and they decided to do this all-day concert thing. And it's been, I think, there's been 2 of them now, maybe 3 actually.
Yes.
I think 3.
Yes.
And I know plans are already afoot for the coming
For the next
summer.
one.
So
Great. Fantastic.
yeah.
And in a way, that fits in a little bit more. There seem to be a lot of music festivals from small villages, which must be a way of bringing people together.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
We all want to come together a bit
Yeah.
more, don't we?
Yep, I went to what's the one in Cookham?
A Cookham Dean, yes, whatever that's called.
Yeah,
Cookham. I know. Rock them all.
Rock the Moor.
Rock
Thank
them
you
all.
very much. Yes,
Yeah.
I went to that this year for the first
Yes,
time. There's the one
yes.
in Penn.
Yes, there's a Penn one.
Fest is
Yes.
a big thing.
Yep.
I really, really want to go to Henley in the summer. Elton John is headlining.
Oh, is he? Right.
Big Elton John fan. We might
Yes.
potentially be playing a little Elton John later
We
if there's
will.
time.
We will indeed. Do you know, my
and-
brother's just come back from Bangkok. He saw him playing.
Really? I've seen him lots and lots of
Yes.
times. He's very, very good live. I like him a lot. And in Henley, he's going to be on the floating barge in the middle of the river.
Oh,
and
brilliant.
it's just how awesome. I'm
Brilliant.
so. And of course, local boy lives in Windsor. So,
Yes,
when he
yes.
chooses to
When
be
he-
in this
when he-
country.
when he's here.
Yeah, subject to
Absolutely.
tax rules and whatever.
Yeah,
No, that's allegedly. So I enjoyed Rock Bottom and Doctor and the Medics, and That's why I chose it.
Yes. Okay, so if we continue the metaphor, really, what else, when people come in for, triage, or when you come across them, what other things do you find that, small businesses have a problem with?
One of the key things that seems to come up a lot is the scenario where people say to me, my business is okay and I know what my margin is and I'm making money,
right,
but I don't seem to have any money.
Oh gosh, yes.
And
wow.
It's okay. That's a good start point, and what I need from them in order to start. And I'm not a forensic accountant, but I can read a balance sheet and a P&L, and I know my finances to a good enough degree.
Yes.
And we dig for a bit, and the causes of that vary. Sometimes they think they're making a margin of 40%, and actually it's only 20%. Sometimes that's we're talking about gross profit, the difference between your buying price and your selling price. But there's all sorts of other costs. Yeah. But I'm turning over £1 million. Well, it doesn't matter what you're turning over. What's coming in the door is important, but the other important bit is what's going out the door. So there are people who are paying way too much for their gas and electric. Their rent is fixed, but actually they're only using half the premises, and their rent, they've got a break clause in 6 months' time. Maybe they should be renegotiating. Maybe they should be moving somewhere with half the size. There's all sorts of things that can be done to reduce costs. But the first thing to do is to ask the question, is their understanding of the numbers actually accurate? Do they say they're making 50% margin? Are they?
Yes.
Or is something going a little bit wrong?
Yes.
And I like to work with people on that kind of stuff, and often they just don't understand it. And that's not a criticism.
Yep.
It's a simple observation. I've many a client I've done things for, and they said to me, how do you do that? How do you know how to do that? In an exasperated, I'll never be good at that kind of a voice. And I always say the same thing back to them. How do you do what you do? I've got a guy one of my clients has developed a range of men's fragrances. I wouldn't know where to start. A very nice lady who I like doing business for makes handbags. How would you start? Designs and makes. How would you start designing a handbag? I've got no idea. And the point that I make to my clients is they're not stupid and they're not backward. They've got different skills to me, and that's if they had the same skills as me, we'd be of no use to each other.
No. And the other thing is, again, I mean, we were talking about sales and trusting the person who's going to represent your company. Let's say you're the smallish company. But also, trusting to let somebody in to look at the books, to look at the figures, where probably you, let's say as the business owner, not fully understanding it, feel a bit inadequate. So I would have thought your approach is hugely important and supportive.
Yeah, and there are circumstances, again, one client in particular I'm thinking of, and I'll be cautious with what I say so as not to embarrass anybody, but he was given some bad advice by his accountant.
Yes.
And I sort of dug into some numbers and said, can you explain, why is this the case? Why is this bit happening over here in the accounts? Oh, well, my accountant said that would be a good idea because of this and that. And I said, okay, I'm not an accountant and I'd really like to take some advice on it. But I'm convinced he's wrong. I'm convinced that's not how you should be doing things to maximise the benefits to you as a business. There are better ways of doing that mean you will be more profitable.
Yes.
And he had no idea and said, if you say so, Mark. And I went off and chatted to an accountant that I know well and do some stuff with and for, and I was right. And the culmination is that the client has now dumped the other accountant and is signed up with the accountant that I know and trust, and is very grateful to. Well, that's a win-win-win. The only loser is the accountant who gave the bad advice.
The other accountant. And very often, I mean, actually, it's about people not keeping up, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to know about regulations. They need to know about their responsibilities. But actually, that comes back to what I said before. You can't be good at everything. If you're running a business with 40 employees and you've got a sales director, finance director, IT manager, all those people, they're expert in each of those areas. You're the MD. Your job is to manage them.
Absolutely.
And if you're a one-man business, that's not the case. And you can't be the HR expert and the finance expert and and the IT expert, unless you're very, very clever, much, much cleverer than me.
Perhaps if you are the expert, you're not actually doing your job as actually running the business.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Absolutely.
It's the classic thing, like, employ people who are cleverer than you in different areas.
It's a brave thing to do, though.
Extremely. Now, we're going to now play a song by Elton John, which
Good.
is tested. And of course, there is here the Elton John ran into huge financial problems because, as he said, he went to court, didn't he? And somebody ripped him off massively. And he said, "Well, I write songs, I sing songs.
Absolutely,
I'm not the music person."
You have to have. Whether you're Elton John or the little local web designer, you have to have experts around you handling the things that you don't know how to handle. And when there's several 100 million at stake, boy, do you have to have that.
Absolutely. Did you recognise the voices? I expect you did.
Yeah.
John Lennon, wasn't
Absolutely, yes. Live on stage with Elton John.
In 74, I see.
Yeah, 1974 that was recorded, and it wasn't 74 that I was there, it was 14, so I was there 40 years after the event.
Yes. In Madison Square Gardens.
I was at Madison Square Gardens, went to New York. I was very lucky to do that last Christmas, and had a lovely, lovely time.
Did you go for Christmas?
No, we went just after Christmas and came back on the morning of New Year's Eve, so we got to go to a party here. And it was just disgustingly expensive, but not as expensive as if we'd been there for Christmas or New Year, because
that's just ferociously.
But that was it was a big family. It was a big family year last year, so we had
Lovely.
a big celebration for that. So that was good.
Very important to celebrate. Actually, very important for businesses to celebrate.
Absolutely,
as well,
yes.
isn't it? It really is.
I always say to businesses who have their sort of 5th birthday, 10th birthday, whatever, do something.
Yes, do
something. And if you're gonna do some PR and tweeting and whatever else, you've always got to have something to say. So a birthday like of that ilk is something good. It's good fodder.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned before you also find people not very good at marketing, and I mean your view and the world's view is that ideally, if you have good marketing, then the selling is, as you said, sort of easy or.
It's easier.
It's always difficult, isn't it, actually?
Yes.
I think it's always difficult.
Yeah, there's, you see a lot of marketing these days by big brands, and you sometimes think, what on earth was the point of that advert? What are they saying? What is the message?
Yes.
And actually, there isn't even a message these days. It's just about getting that brand name in your head.
Isn't it?
And with a warm, fuzzy feeling. John Lewis, of course, are par excellence there. Their Christmas advert this year has been.
Aren't they?
Yeah. John Lewis's Christmas advert this year has come in for some stick, but Coca-Cola is a good example, especially with their Christmas adverts, where it's
always the same, always comfortable, and
absolutely
know where you are.
friendly, smiley, jolly. Here's the jolly Santa giving you a bottle full of sugar.
Absolutely,
and
you've never even noticed.
And people just love it. And then when you go in the shop, there's that brand recognition, and when you compare the price of Coke, Pepsi, whatever other leading brands there are, with Asda Cola, Sainsbury's Cola, whatever it may be, the price differential is enormous. And the only additional cost that those big brands have is their advertising cost. That's what it's about. So, you're paying
and also, they're a premium product, so they can charge a higher price as well, can't they?
Absolutely.
That's the other thing.
But in what way are they premium? I do wonder. There are some premium products out there that certainly in the big wide world that certainly are premium. They are better than the cheap stuff.
I see what you mean. Yes, you're not saying their quality is really different. They're just heavily advertised.
But I think that's big brand stuff for small. I sometimes say to small businesses, if you want to talk to me about how best to spend £500,000 marketing budget and how to maximise the impact of that, I have no idea. I've never had a £500,000 marketing budget. I wouldn't know where to start. But I know some people who would.
Yeah.
But if people come to me and they say, I have no marketing budget and I need to get known, how can I do that, Mark? Well, there are some ways, there are some strategies, there are things you can do. And press releases, if it's your 5th birthday, the launch of your organisation, whatever it may be, there's so long as you've got something sort of interesting to say, then you can put together a press release, you can talk to or get somebody clever to do that for you, you can tweet, you can Facebook, you can do all all sorts of different things to get noticed by the right people. Networking, be that online or in real life, face to face. There's lots of very inexpensive marketing that can be done. For me, the sales journey is know, like, trust. People have to know you, then they have to like you, and then they have to trust you. And the know bit, obviously with a K, the know bit,
Yes.
that's where marketing plays a key role.
Yes.
And the like bit, the marketing can play, we go back to the Coca-Cola advert.
Yes.
Everyone who watches that Coca-Cola advert's got a smile on their face.
Feels warm and cuddly and,
absolutely.
lovely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, and the trusting is perhaps comes a bit later, but if you use things like social proof and all that kind of stuff,
absolutely.
That helps to build up the trust.
The trust depends how you engender the trust and how you develop that. It differs depending on what is being sold.
Yes.
If you are selling a new fizzy drink, well, you give away a small can of it or a full-size can of it as a free sample. That's going to develop the trust. Where when people are selling intangibles, like me selling business advice, it's very hard for somebody to just take the leap and trust you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the other thing, perhaps in modern marketing, it's often you do a giveaway, you give the equivalent of a sample of a fizzy drink.
Absolutely.
So they can experience your approach.
Absolutely, and that's precisely what I do. I do first session free, and that way the price barrier is completely gone away, and I don't sell at people for an hour.
Solve a problem or clarify something.
I do my job. I talk to them about what challenges that they got, and I address the challenge. You can't do much in an hour, but we give it a go, and they get a nice written report from me, and on the basis of that, sometimes I never see them again, and I put that down as my marketing expense, and sometimes they say, "That was good, can we do it again, please?" And I say, "For sure."
Yeah, fantastic. Well, it's very interesting, isn't it? How do you think business is developing? I mean, just quickly, sort of as we're wrapping up a bit, do you feel that generally things are getting
the economy
better?
Absolutely, no doubt at all. We are still in challenged times, and people are very, very cautious about spending money because you can only spend it once and then it's gone. But people are spending money, and that goes for every level. It goes for consumers, it goes for businesses, small and large. There's lots of people who didn't buy their new laptop for a long time, be that business or player, and they're now doing it, and they're engaging in this. What's important for me and people like me is that people are investing in their businesses now. They can see that the recession is pretty much over, and they have to ride the wave. And in order to ride the wave, they have to have a business with good processes, good marketing, good products, good approach to the market, and they've got to be sort of out there so that people can then spend money with them. Because if they're spending money, then that means other people are spending money too. And I think the phrase is a virtuous circle.
Yes.
And it can be self-perpetuating. And you know what? I think a boom is coming.
Good.
And I'll tell you what else. There'll be a bust afterwards, because there always is.
There always is.
and that boom and bust cycle, despite what some chancellors may wish for, is
part
never going to get broken.
Really,
it's part of life.
Yes.
So you just have to plan for the boom now. And there is going to be a boom. How do I maximise it for me? And when that boom starts to just tail off, hopefully not for a very, very long time, but it will happen. That's when you start thinking, okay, another recession is coming. How do I plan for that? How do I adapt? Absolutely. How do I reduce my cost? How do I increase my marketing? Because a recession really is when you need to market to pull in what business there is, and survive and thrive.
Okay, so final thought. What about you for next year? Any big plans?
Me for next year? Well, Laptop Monday is I just have such for enterprise doctor advice and support. It's hopefully more of the same, and long may that continue. I have a good work-life balance and do some voluntary stuff. That's lovely.
Yes.
But the big thing for me will hopefully be Laptop Monday. I really hope that thrives, and if it does, at the bird in hand, then my mission will be for a second venue and run 2 of them, and perhaps more than 2.
I think you've totally touched the zeitgeist, to be honest, because people
Thank you.
understand collaboration now, or co-working, or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
I think generally the whole mood is changing. It's like there are no enemies. There is no competition, really.
No,
Everybody's different.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I certainly hope you're right.
I think we're both right, Mark.
Good.
It's been a real pleasure having you on the show. So
I've
thank
loved
you
it.
so
Thank
much.
you.
It's been
Thank
really
you.
good. If you're listening in and you're interested, don't forget Mark is running Laptop Monday at the Bird in Hand, starting on the 11th of January, and it's only £15, and you can rock up and do lots of wonderful work, and he will look forward to seeing you then. And it just remains for me to wish you a wonderful week.
Thank you.
Everybody, and we're going to finish, I can hardly bear to say this, but actually we are going to finish with Blue Monday from New Order because you love it.
And why not? And this is for my lovely wife. It was her favourite song.
Lovely. Good. Well, this is for her, and I will be back with you next week. So have a wonderful week, and this is Jean Wolfe for BizBuzz signing off.